chase. You know what, guys? We have a great show for you tonight. Crazy, huh? So let's go ahead and get right into it with a look back at the news of the week. A's pitcher Mike Fiers tossed his second career no-hitter Tuesday night in a 2-0 victory against the Reds. It took him 131 pitches to do it, but it was still a more efficient use of Fiers than anything that happened in the Battle of Winterfell. Nick Saban said he's been watching Game of Thrones and he wishes he could recruit the White Walkers. Just because it would be great to compete alongside other guys who are also dead inside. Giants infielder Pablo Sandoval on Monday became the first player since 1905 to homer, steal a base, and pitch a scoreless inning. And that's the first positive story about a Giant throwing anything in even more years. The Warriors apparently watched Avengers Endgame as a team, but according to The Athletic, Klay Thompson left 2 hours into the movie because he was bored. Well, Klay, now you know how we feel. Tiger Woods received the Presidential Medal of Freedom on Monday. Okay. He said he was thankful for the people who stayed with him through, quote, the highs and the lows. And then also all the golf stuff. Nike released new Kyrie Irving gear that celebrates the 15-year anniversary of the final episode of Friends, which, you know, is smart, because based on this season, it hasn't been his day, his week, his month, or even his year. I wasn't gonna sing it. After losing in the second round of the NHL playoffs, Blue Jackets coach John Tortorella said, quote, I'm not gonna listen to any of that about an accomplishment getting to the second round, which I think is a good policy. If you're going to be a successful coach in Columbus, you need to learn to not listen to a lot of things. Like reports or allegations or... Country House won the Kentucky Derby on Saturday after initial winner Maximum Security was disqualified following a 22-minute review. You know, and a lot of people don't realize that is like 2 hours in horse minutes. The start of Monday afternoon's Giants-Reds game was delayed 18 minutes due to bees swarming the field. You know, and a lot of people don't realize that's like over 205 hours in bee minutes. Carry the 5. Kayla Harper, the wife of Phillies star Bryce Harper, posted a message intended for her husband from a woman who wrote, quote, I'm just trying to be your stress reliever. Yet another baseball reliever unable to find work. You know, it's a real shame. And lastly, Don Cherry, the old man yells at cloud meme dressed like a couch, went after the Carolina Hurricanes and their fun celebrations again. Moving on to our main story tonight, hockey. You know, the seasonal allergies of sports, because none of you think about it until April and then it goes away completely to you in June. I love hockey, and I would like you guys to at least know by now that we are in the midst of the NHL playoffs. The stage is just about set for the conference finals. In the West, the winner of Wednesday's Game 7 between the Sharks and the Avalanche will move on to take on the St. Louis Blues, who are coming off of a thrilling double OT Game 7 victory over the Stars on Tuesday night. It was awesome. I feel like all of you must have seen it, judging by the blank look on your faces. It was the best thing to happen to the Blues since JD and the Straight Shot. In the East, it's going to be the Bruins versus the Hurricanes as the Jerks try to take down, I mean, honestly, the other Jerks. But so here's the thing. During Game 6 of the Bruins-Blue Jackets series, I learned something that hasn't really sat with me right since. And I was hoping that we could chat about it. In the final moments of the second period, Boston's Charlie McAvoy leveled what looked like a pretty brutal hit on Josh Anderson. So that was the hit. McAvoy got a 2-minute minor for an illegal check to the head, which a lot of people, myself included, were surprised by. Now, if you're not a hockey person, this is an oversimplification, but most penalties are either minors or majors. So, like, elbowing is the penalty. If you elbow, that's a minor, 2 minutes. But if you, like, elbow, it's going to be a major, 5 minutes. So that McAvoy hit looked like a major. I mean, the guys in the booth were debating if he would get kicked out of the game. So when the ref came out and called it a minor, people went nuts. And then nuts went flying onto the ice. Although, I have to admit that if you told me someone's nuts would be spilled on the ice, I would have guessed that Brad Marchand was somehow involved. But okay, so it turns out that the call was technically right. Because when you look up the rule for a legal check to the head in the NHL rulebook, it's rule number 48. I know you're going to fact check when you get home. You see that there is no provision for a major penalty for this rule. which means you cannot give someone, for whatever reason, 5 minutes for an illegal check to their head. It's either like 2 minutes, don't do that, or a match penalty where a player would be removed from the game. But the rule book goes on to say that that's only supposed to be assessed if the referee thinks the player did it on purpose, deliberately tried to injure his opponent, which Charlie McAvoy did not do. So it was the right call, question mark? But it feels really icky. And then it just got me wondering if hockey's been flying under the radar when it comes to head injury stuff. Like if we devoted as much coverage to hockey as we do to the NFL, would shining a light on the NHL reveal that they've been getting away with not caring for a minute now? And folks, bad news. So last week, I didn't know this until I did, and now I'm telling you, NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman testified in front of a Canadian parliamentary committee on the relationship between sports and brain injuries. And here is what Gare Bear had to say about the link between CTE, you know what it stands for, I'm not going to try to pronounce it, and hockey-related head trauma.
In short, I don't believe there has been, based on everything I've been told, and if anybody has information to the contrary, we'd be happy to hear it. Other than some anecdotal evidence, there has not been that conclusive link.
Sure. You know, it's just like the way that there is no conclusive link between mixing up a pint of Haagen-Dazs with a bottle of Goldschlager, it's called a Hagenschlager, and the fact that I threw up on the bathroom floor. It could have been anything with tiny flecks of gold in it, you know? It's the same song and dance that we've taken the NFL to task for a lot over the last few years. And it's one that shows the NHL is going to avoid doing something about it for as long as they can. And you guys aren't paying attention, so it's not going to get done. And that's frustrating. Because as much as the NHL is the redheaded stepchild of sports leagues in America, it is the biggest and most watched of the pro hockey leagues here. They have the opportunity to lead by example. And I would like for them to step up. If not only just because the other pro leagues that we have here, well, they have a lot on their plate right now.
Shocking news yesterday from the world of women's hockey. It was announced that the CWHL, in existence for 12 years, will cease to operate as of May 1st of this year. The players and GMs of the 6-team league were obviously blindsided by this, as the news was delivered to all parties involved via a conference call.
That is shocking. Someone accomplished something on a conference call? Seriously though, what a terrible way to get that news. Like, hey, is everyone on? We're gonna get started here. You know, after much deliberation, we have made the very difficult decision to cease operations of, beep beep, Hillary Knight's here. Hi guys, sorry I'm late. Can you start over? Not only is that a terrible way to find out your league isn't a league anymore, but the news came March 31st. Which was just 4 days before they had to go play in the Women's World Championships. So hey, break a leg, ladies. And if you literally do, that's okay, because you don't have a job playing hockey anymore. Thanks, bye. So yeah, with the CWHL done, the 4-year-old NWHL is now the one professional hockey league for women in North America, which has actually been a goal of many female hockey players in the past, to have one league with all the best players and resources and opportunities. So now it appears, it wasn't great how it happened, but it appears that now they have that. They must have been thrilled.
Led by stars Hillary Knight and Kendall Coyne-Schofield, more than 200 of the world's top women hockey players announced today that they will not play the coming season in North America. The announcement comes one day after the Canadian Women's Hockey League shut down after a 12-year run, leaving the low-salaried NWHL as the only women's pro league in North America.
Yep, not thrilled. A growing list of over 200 female professional hockey players have vowed not to play next season in an effort to draw attention to the current state of the women's game, which they feel is unsustainable. The protest was announced on social media with this unified statement, which you should go read for yourself, hashtagged for the game, appearing on the accounts of star players like Hillary Knight, Kendall Coyne-Schofield, and Marie-Philippe Poulin, a name I highly recommend you try saying out loud. They have since gained support from other athletes, fans, and players associations across the sports world, but the issue is a complicated one. And there are some players who feel the boycott that they aren't calling a boycott, the girl-cott, is not, it's not the proper solution to the problems in women's hockey. Sports media rarely treats stories about women's sports with the nuance they deserve, and I am including myself in that criticism. So tonight, I wanted to take a look at why this is happening, why some of the women in the league don't agree, and then where the solution may lie. Now, real quick, before I do that, if you feel yourself over there flexing your little comment section fingers right now, getting ready to tell me how you don't care, and like, get back in the kitchen, or whatever other iambic pentameter you wish to bequeath onto us, save it, please. We are so happy for you not caring, let me tell you. And you know what, life is short, so go watch something else. The adults in the room who do care are talking now, and it's really hard to hear anything over the perpetual fart noise you're making. It's not gonna work, but it was worth a shot. The Canadian Women's Hockey League was formed in 2007 after the National Women's Hockey League disbanded. And then in 2015, a new National Women's Hockey League, NWHL, was formed. And they were offering something that the CWHL never did: payment. Like a salary for jobbing. It was not much, but it was better than literally 0 Canadian dollars, which with the conversion rate back then was 0 American dollars. It was enough to entice some stars away from the league up north.
I left the CWHL and jumped into the NWHL just because I saw that the NWHL had a vision. It's scary though, because everyone's, you know, you just have to trust this thing that's gonna work and take off. Yeah, that's super scary. And the NWHL did okay for the last 4 years. It's only been 4 years. But you know, okay is in comparison to that league that didn't pay anybody until the end and now is over. So the women were making money in the NWHL, but for most, it was not even close to a livable wage.
I'll be candid and say, like, my CWHL salary this year is $2,000, and I mean not a game, not a month. That's my entire season salary. Okay, and obviously that's not sustainable. I know I play in Toronto. I can't live in Toronto on $2,000. Not even a month, maybe, right?
No.
Seriously, $2,000 a month in Toronto. That would be $1,800 for rent, and then you only have $200 left for ketchup chips. That is not sustainable. Players are also expected in the NWHL to pay for their own health care. A wild ask for a professional athlete. And while they do have a players association, that's good, they don't have a CBA. Not good. So when the NWHL decided to slash salaries in half in the middle of their second season, that just happened. No one got to say anything about it. And look, any new league is going to struggle to stay afloat while also meeting the needs of its players, delivering a quality product, and attracting a passionate fan base. RIP Alliance of American Football, we hardly knew ye. But those goals, all the thing that a league needs to do, are just so at odds with one another in the sense that they all require the same thing. Lots and lots and lots and lots of money. Vince McMahon is expecting to spend $500 million on the relaunch of the XFL, which I don't think that many people even want. The NWHL was kept afloat by a $50,000 donation from Dunkin' Donuts. I feel like that should have said Dunkin' Donuts. So, okay, that leaves us with the question, why a boycott? Girl, why this? Okay, well, a lot of these women have seen success with this type of strategy before. In 2017, Team USA, women's hockey, threatened to boycott the World Championships in protest of unfair treatment by USA Hockey. They got their attention, they had some of their demands met, and they were seen on national television bringing awareness to their sport and their message.
We need more visibility, we need more games, and we need to be paid properly.
And if you're wondering why USA Today columnist Nancy R. Moore seems so passionate about an issue that isn't her problem, it's because that is Kendall Coyne, a professional hockey player who this piece is literally about. Not Nancy, although she does look like she has some saucy paws. She knows her way around the net. Of course, a boycott can work, and they know that from experience. But there is also the possibility that your bluff is going to get called. And then these women, especially the ones who don't play on their country's national team, will be without hockey for who knows how long. So why risk it? Well, the most logical reason may lie in the way that NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman, remember him from earlier, great guy, has answered questions about women's hockey when he's been asked about it in the past.
What we have said is if there's no opportunity for women to play professional hockey, then we would explore what would make sense or might be appropriate. But by the same token, I didn't want to be presumptuous or be even bully-like and say we're going to start a league and put them out of business. And it's up to the players to decide what they want. But if there is a void, then we will focus on what might be appropriate at the time.
Yeah, so Bettman's message has always been, if they have no other option, these women, we might consider it. So it would appear as though many players have decided that consideration from the NHL and from Gary Bettman is their best shot at a viable, successful league. And so in order to expedite the process, they have to create a void where the NWHL currently stands. As Kaylee Fratkin of the Metropolitan Riveters put it, quote, "It's the only league that's left, and we're burning down the barn." Because that's how they get the NHL to do something about it. Now, Kaylee is one of a number of players who, as of now, is not standing with the boycott. She, just like all of the other women, shares the goal of one league that will pay them a decent living wage and have health insurance and won't make them worry about someday getting paid in Dunkin' Donuts gift cards, which is a real thing that happened in the NWHL. I love Dunkin' Donuts. It's just like money's better. But there is more than one way to achieve a goal, right? That's important to remember. And some players feel like this way, the way that they're going about it right now, is incredibly risky. A few have spoken anonymously to publications like The Athletic about how they felt rushed, they felt pressured to say yes to something that they thought maybe wasn't properly thought out. As one current player put it, quote, "We're giving up a lot for a big maybe." And she's got a point. Bettman has said if there were no other leagues, then maybe he'd think about it. Not even like maybe we'd do it. Maybe then I'd start to maybe think about it. I don't know. So it sounds enticing, but it's not a promise. As it stands, fun fact, the NHL is currently the NWHL's biggest investor with a whopping $100,000. $100,000 invested in the league. It used to be 50, but then the CWHL stopped being a thing, and that they had been given that one 50, so then they just like moved it, and so now they get $100,000 from the NHL and became their biggest investor. Yikes! There is a real opportunity for the NHL to invest in the women's sport and turn it into a league that can self-sustain and, I don't know, crazy idea, maybe even turn a profit for you. And guys, the timing could not be better. The new team coming to Seattle has to pay the NHL a $650 million expansion fee. It's just like the $100,000, the numbers are very different. But so $650 million, and that does not get shared with the players. That just goes to the owners and the league. So if you asked me, and you didn't, but don't care, my name's on the desk, it sounds like the perfect time for the NHL to invest some capital into the betterment of the sport that they are supposed to be the National League of. They're not the National Men's Hockey League, the National Hockey League. And some of us like hockey, and others of us like hockey and are good at it. Not me. So help out, invest in it, and let's have women's hockey succeed and thrive. Crazy idea. Please do it.
Absolutely astonishing! Gale force winds can't keep him down. Amazing! Beautiful! And it's too hot to handle. And cool as the seeds inside the cucumber. The power! 1.21 gigawatts! How'd you like these apples, people? sweeter than a mother's kiss at bedtime. What was that? This is a rhythm that's put together better than a Jamaican kettle drum band. And what we have seen here is absolutely Shakespearean. But Shakespeare got it wrong. It wasn't King Lear, it's King Leo. Incredible with that technique. One touch, he pops it up intentionally. Better balance than a big Greek belly dancer. Absolutely jaw-dropping genius again. Beautiful.
I feel like maybe you didn't hear. Maybe you didn't. He said it's not Shakespeare, it's Leo. And that was Jared Leto. That is just perfect. I do say so myself. Look, guys, I get it. All of us experience doubt. We experience insecurity. And you know, we don't have the answer to all of life's problems. Well, all of us except, you know, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Zlatan famously has no doubts, no insecurities, and there are no questions he does not have the answer to. So we figured that the best questions we could ask him would be some of yours. We'd let him solve your problems. And you know, his answers are pretty spot on. See for yourself. Zlatan, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You are a very confident man. We feel like you're kind of like a life coach. Like you would give really good advice to people who aren't as confident. And so we had the viewers of our show call in and ask some questions where they need the help of a life coach. Would you be willing to help us give these guys some answers?
Absolutely.
All right, let's take our first caller.
Hey, Katie, it's Tommy from Cleveland. I work exclusively with one coworker, and gosh, he's just the most annoying person on the planet. So can I have some tips to get me through the day so I don't strangle him or, you know, the children that we work with? Thanks. Love you. Mean it.
I should have a meeting with him and discuss.
And say what?
Talk less. I don't know. Move less. I don't know what he's annoying about.
That's a good point. He could be annoying in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, be clear. Tell him, listen.
Talk less.
Yes. Talk less and work more.
That's good. Talk less, work more. It's not bad advice. We have another one?
Hey, Katie. It's Alex from Manhattan. As you know, summer is popping up, and that means people are going to have terrible body odor in the train and in the office. How do I deal with people who apparently think proper hygiene is fake news?
Well, either you don't say nothing or you say. Just be direct.
But you don't take the subway, I imagine. You're not on public transportation.
Before I used to take, sometimes I would like to feel alive and do those things.
That's how you feel alive?
Yeah,
you go
normal.
on
Let's
the
say
train.
normal and alive, where I do the normal casual things. Where when I was young, I used to take the bus to the center or to the training. This doesn't happen today, and yeah, you go through those things, the body, whatever. And I mean, it's their problem. It's not your problem. As long as you're fresh and do your thing.
Yeah, but what if someone's next to you and they've got their arm up, it's right in your face, and you're just like, oh.
I would move.
You would move? You wouldn't say anything?
I would move, or but depends how. If he's leaning on me, I would.
What if he's leaning on you?
Please, my friend, step aside. Your place, my place.
Do you ever have like a really smelly teammate?
If I have, no. If I had, I would not say it because we have, but I don't say. I don't say names. We keep it low level.
All right. Hopefully they've gotten that under control. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully.
All right, let's take another caller.
Hey, Katie. This is Nina in LA. Big fan of the show. Calling with a question about my dog. So he is handsome, charismatic. You could say he has the it factor, major star in the making. And he's so charismatic that every stranger who sees him wants to be his friend and pet him. The problem is, being an adopted pup, he's a little anxious and, you know, doesn't want to be touched. So what should I say to strangers who want to meet my dog? How do I handle the delusion of attention now that he's a star? Thanks so much. Bye.
I would avoid people not talking to the dog.
But so if somebody were to come up to the dog and be like, I'm gonna pet your dog, what would you say?
Please don't.
Please don't do that.
She don't like it.
The dog doesn't like you.
I don't like you touching my dog.
That's a very scary thing to say to someone.
No, I have a dog. I have a very popular dog. Everybody, when they see him, they wanna go close and they wanna touch him. They even offered me money for the dog when I was walking on the street. Yeah, when I first came.
A person offered you money for your dog?
Wanted to pay and bring it with him for his wife or girlfriend.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
So I was thinking to put security for my dog. Walking with a security. No, I'm not lying.
Wait, would it be...
This is a true story.
Right, but would it be another dog? Like a dog security guard? Or would it be a person? Okay.
Person.
Okay.
Person.
All right, Zlatan, thank you very much. Do you feel like you're a good life coach? I think you did a great job.
I don't know, depends on the question. This is not my areas, but yeah, I can give my advice and the way I would do it, but if people follow or not, it's up to them. I mean, you find your own way of doing your thing.
And if you could give one piece of advice for how you stay so sure of yourself all the time?
I believe in what I'm doing. And only afterwards we will see if I had right or not, if I was wrong or not.
Have you ever been wrong?
Many times.
Really?
But I will not say that.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have to cut that part out. Don't let anyone know.
No, believe in what you're doing and try, because that is what will bring you as far as you can go.
And speak in the third person. I bet that probably helps.
That works also.
Like, I am Katie. This is my show.
That is your show.
Katie is the best. Zlatan is second best.
Not possible.
Oh, he was fantastic. All right, guys, that's it for our show. Big thank you to Zlatan, to Mina Kimes and her very famous dog, Lenny, to Liverpool for winning yesterday, to our studio audience, and you at home for watching. We will see you next week. Here it is, your moment with Denny.
Is Denny in your stand-in?
I'm just paying homage to the man. He's the cat who won't cop out. When there's danger, all about.